In 2011, I was hired straight out of college to work at the White House and eventually at the National Security Council. My job there was to promote and protect the best of what my country stands for. I am a hijab-wearing Muslim woman. I was the only hijabi in the West Wing, and the Obama administration always made me feel welcome and included. Like most of my fellow Americans, I spent much of 2016 watching with consternation as Donald Trump vilified our community. Despite this, or because of it, I thought I should try to stay on the NSC staff during the Trump administration in order to give the new president and his aides a more nuanced view of Islam and of America's Muslim citizens. I lasted 8 days. When Trump issued a ban on travelers from 7 Muslim-majority countries and all Syrian refugees, I knew I could no longer stay and work for an administration that saw me and people like me not as fellow citizens, but as a threat. The evening before I left, bidding farewell to some of my colleagues, many of whom have also since left, I notified Trump's senior NSC communications advisor Michael Anton of my departure, since we shared an office. His initial surprise, asking whether I was leaving government entirely, was followed by silence, almost in caution, not asking why. I told him anyway. I told him I had to leave, because it was an insult walking into this country's most historic building every day under an administration that is working against and vilifying everything I stand for as an American and as a Muslim. I told him that the administration was attacking the basic tenets of democracy. I told him that I hoped they and those in Congress were prepared to take responsibility for all the consequences that would attend their decisions. He looked at me and said nothing. My parents immigrated to the United States from Bangladesh in 1978 and strove to create opportunities for their children born in the States. My mother worked as a cashier, later starting her own daycare business. My father spent late nights working at Bank of America and was eventually promoted to assistant vice president at one of its headquarters. Living the American dream, we'd have family barbecues, trips to Disney World, impromptu soccer or football games, and community service projects. My father began pursuing his PhD, but in 1995, he was killed in a car accident. I was 12 when I started wearing a hijab. It was encouraged in my family, but it was always my choice. It was a matter of faith, identity, and resilience for me. My father taught me a Bengali proverb inspired by Islamic scripture. When a man kicks you down, get back up, extend your hand, and call him brother. Peace, patience, persistence, respect, forgiveness, and dignity. These were the values I've carried through my life and my career. I never intended to work in government. I was among those who assumed the government was inherently corrupt and ineffective. Working in the Obama White House proved me wrong. You can't know or understand what you haven't been a part of. Still, inspired by President Obama, I joined the White House in 2011 after graduating from George Washington University. I had interned there during my junior year, reading letters and taking calls from constituents at the Office of Presidential Correspondence. It felt surreal. Here I was, a 22-year-old American Muslim woman from Maryland who had been mocked and called names for covering my hair, working for the President of the United States. For 2.5 years, I worked down the hall from the Situation Room, advising President Obama's engagements with American Muslims and working on issues ranging from advancing relations with Cuba and Laos to promoting global entrepreneurship among women and youth. The weeks leading up to Trump's inauguration prepared me and my colleagues for what we thought would come, but not for what actually came. On Monday, January 23rd, I walked into the Eisenhower Executive Office building with the new staffers there. Rather than the excitement I encountered when I first came to the White House under Obama, the new staff looked at me with a cold surprise. The diverse White House I had worked in became a monochromatic and male bastion. I might have lasted a little longer. Then came January 30th, the executive order banning travelers from 7 Muslim-majority countries. American diversity is a strength, and so is the American commitment to the ideals of justice and equality. American history is not without stumbles, which have proven that the nation is only made more prosperous and resilient through struggle, compassion, and inclusiveness. It's why my parents came here. It's why I told my former 5th grade students who wondered if they still belonged here, that this country would not be great without them.